Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another broadcast of the American Rishi Mahjong League. Nathaniel here, joined by League Admin Edwin. How's it going, Edwin?
Going all right. How about you?
I am really looking forward to tonight's action. There was a bit of a hype stream earlier this week, and the games have been building up. We saw a huge number of games being played yesterday, and a smaller number today, but still quite a few, and we're catching the tail end of that with an A1 matchup here. This is A1 Table 1. You can see two of the players in this match are sitting at the top of the A1 division currently, that being Steve and Kenyon. So it should be really exciting to see that battle play out.
And it's going to be a decent warm up for them, as both of them are actually going to be heading out to the World Ricci Championships here, which will happen next week.
Wonderful. So we'll get to a little bit of head-to-head practice for that. And we're all, of course, rooting for Steve and Kenyon to knock it out of the park at the WRC very soon. And I imagine this game will be starting very soon, as it is 10:08 my time. Here we go. Getting into things, Kenyon will be our first dealer. To the right, we have Steve. Across the table, Simon. And to the left, Oliver. Looking at the dealers, Hypai, pretty strong, actually. 2 tiles away from Tempai from the get-go, and a door in hand. So I imagine we'll probably be seeing a pretty fast Ricci here. Hopefully getting Pinfu as well. To the right, this looks like a fairly normal hand to build an Itsu. Okay, let's just say Ricci. And hopefully Pinfu and possibly Itsu. Itsu is a little bit far away at the moment. Across the table, there's the south pair, but it's looking more like a Ricci hand that will incorporate the Dora and potentially 4-5-6 Sanshoku. And then to the left, we've got a Hatsu pair, and that hand is actually Ishanten already. Very fast high
Yeah,
here.
it is Ishanten. Well, is it? Wait.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right.
No, left. Yeah, they're not Ishanten yet, but they're pretty close. They really like to get that Hatsu and just get that hand done. Oh, they
or just draw a Dora.
So that'll definitely help there. At this point, it's just a Ricci Dora because the pair right now is the Hatsu.
Yeah, in this situation, if you're sitting in Oliver's seat, do you like to call the Hatsu here and open it for 2,000, or do you prefer to stay closed and go for the Ricci Dora?
I mean, you're going to have to find your pair elsewhere, so I'm not quite sure. If you're able to get your other pair elsewhere, then I think I consider calling, but you may just want to take the Ricci at this point and just get what you can get if you have a good weight at the end. If your weight, because hopefully you're trying to fill that double Ryokan shape, but you don't. So
Right.
Oliver ends up having to take the Doris or the Suji trap on the Ricci tile, which is not ideal, but again, you couldn't find your pair elsewhere, so you just take it at end of first row.
Yeah, Ricci Dora won 2,600 minimum, but of course there's things like Sumo and Ura that can change that. The hand to the right was Ishanten for a bit, but is starting to, well, still Ishanten, but maneuvering around this Ricci a bit.
Yeah, and Kenyon was Ishanten for a good while, but had drawn a couple of pairs, like paired up the 2-pin, paired up the 9-pin, and hadn't really gained much traction. And so she is sitting Ishanten at this point. But I don't know if you can discard either of those tiles to go Tempai. Any of those tiles, really.
Yeah, I think with a door in hand, if you get something like Reach Pinfu, she might be willing to take it. Well, this is the big question. The Shampoo weight, do you like it? 3 of the 5s are gone and a couple of the 2s, so it might not look that bad. And actually, she doesn't decide to Ricci this. But we'll take the Tempai.
Maybe she's looking for something better, because if she doesn't think that he's waiting on either the 3 or the 4, if she can get into a Ryamen weight, then maybe that's what she's looking for to try to add Pinfu to it. Otherwise, I think maybe it's just not enough value for her to consider reaching and just locking herself in.
Yeah,
maybe.
But
I don't know.
It was willing to take the Tempai in the first place, and now chases. Steve, in the meantime, had sort of worked towards 7 pairs, but now will definitely be folding out. And Toyman, that Simon across the table, had been maneuvering around this. I'm sure he would chase if he drew another Dora.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody... Oh, I did not expect... Okay, I can see why, because it's Suji to the 6, obviously, but the 6 had already been established by Kenyon, discarded earlier. I didn't know if that would be safe for Oliver for Steve to discard, but I guess he thought enough of it to try to give it a shot, and that's a lot of pairs.
That is a lot of pairs, but you also have double east, so I think Yukitona might just play this pretty straightforward. You could even make Toy Toy out of this, perhaps.
You can. You can. I can
Ooh.
definitely see like the 8 so being pawned.
There's
7 I'm not so sure about.
Yeah, East gets called immediately. There's even a chance at some type of Chanta even. You can get 2 9-sos, but
Yeah, I think if you're gonna go for Chanta, you'd rather get the Dora. If you get the Dora, then I think you push for it.
well, there's a first call. I guess
I
that
mean,
would be the
she's still
second.
leaving. She's leaving the door open,
Right.
For like keeping the 8 pin.
Yeah, it should be pointed out that Steve's already drawn into an Anko of the West here and has a few pairs. The hand looking like it wants to incorporate the Dora 7 pin a couple tiles away there. Across the table, that looks more like a Tanyao. Would need to discard the 1-2 penchant shape. And then to the left, we've got, well, Arichi. Arichi Dora 1. A couple players here with that 7-9 shape. And then Kinyan sitting here with just the 8 itself, hoping to draw a 7 and a 9.
Yeah, you're end of first row. I think by this point, if you don't see any of those out and you're not drawing it, I'd be starting to think that maybe other people have those tiles around you, and you should just go for your Tenpai. And holding on to that 8, just, at least in my opinion, can get you into trouble later, especially if you're not making any progress.
Yeah, I guess the 8's more efficient than this tune, but it's starting to become more and more dangerous as time passes. And we saw, of course, a call across the table from Simon, who is making the push for Tanyao. It won't be an expensive hand, but maybe hoping to kill off this dealer push. And Steve had the decision between the 7-9-9 pin and the 1-1-3, so chose to retain the pin tile.
I mean, he could easily push for a Toy Toy as well if he pairs up something, but that 8 pin changes everything.
Yep, this is Tenpai. 2 of the 1 mon out, 1 of the 4 mon out. Just chooses to throw the stick in. Riichi Dora.
Yeah, and see, now if you're Kinyan, what do you do? That 8 pin is next to the Riichi tile and it's near Dora. What do you do with this? Can you pitch it?
There isn't really much that's safe here. You have the Nakasuji 6. The 5 was safe because it was called, discarded and called by Simon.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have kept that 8 for as long as Kinyan did. Like, I understand you want to get more value out of it and maybe get a, Chanta or whatever, but I think by end of first row, you should have realized that you were a little bit stuck.
This is Tenpai. You drop the 8 for the good weight? Indeed, just pushes it. Oh, and that is going to deal in. It would have given Oliver Tenpai, but it would have been for Noyaku. And so, Riichi Dora 1, 3,200 with the extra Fu.
So that's basically a swap between Steve and Oliver there.
We move to Steve's dealership. Well, has the South pair. We know he loves the South Wind. And reasonably good shapes as well. Could see a...
Well, he's Ryan Shenten at this point.
Yeah, maybe Nipeko and the Pinzu. And maybe you can turn that 5-5 shape into some sort of Pingu. You could even swap around to Tanyao in the future, but that would involve dropping the South pair. To the right, we've got very nice shapes as well. Even a chance at 5, 6, 7 Sanshoku. And the 7-mon is the Dora, with 1 in hand for Simon. Across the table, there are 3 pairs, but you probably are hoping to make more of a normal hand, potentially Nipeko in the Pinzu. And then
he's pushing for a 3-so weight here with his Tenpai.
Yeah, does drop the South pair. And that 4 pin is very efficient. To the left, you just have a lone Dora in hand, and of course the Haku pair, so feels a little bit behind compared to some of these other hands.
Oh, I was going to ask before, because I wasn't... Oh, wait, there's a
That's Tenpai. Waiting on the Con 6 so for Riichi, Tanyao, Sanshoku, Dora 1. So Tsumo would be Haneman. There is... there are
no
3
call
6s.
From Kinyan there. She's shifting out, at least for now.
This is Tenpai for Steve, and he'll chase. 2 5 pin is the weight. So 3-6 so
Yeah.
left for Simon, and then 4-2-5, but he
my
just draws it.
gosh.
Wasn't the Ipeco, but you'll take it. Reach
Well,
Patsumo
I mean,
Pinfu.
he got 2 perfect draws out of that because he could have easily just had to wait. He could have easily just been waiting on the 3-so. Instead, draws the 3-so, gets his Rionman weight, and then Ipatsumos to top it off. So
Well, that's perfect for Steve, who now claims the lead with 38,000 and has a chance at extending that a bit here. Has what looks to be the makings of a 1-2-3 or 2-3-4 Sanshoku. We'll need to draw a little bit more to see what this ends up becoming.
well, there's a pair, so that certainly helps.
Yeah, it still hasn't. It doesn't give perfect direction as to which Sanshoku you're aiming for. East is paired up to the right for Simon, who might be making the shift to Honitsu, as there's a lot of pin tiles in that hand. Across the way,
Steve's
there.
going to be dropping that east soon, so you're going to see some action here shortly. Not that you don't already have it.
The Haku was called across the table. There's 2 Dora in that hand, and there's the East as predicted. The play for Simon is becoming clear to the rest of the table at this point. The hand to the left actually looks quite nice. That is one tile away
Yeah,
from
but
Tenpai.
it's two Kanchan weights. It's not ideal for sure. Even if she gets Tenpai, it's gonna be a bad Ricci at best into 2 people who are trying to finish their hands.
There is some reasonable flexibility here, and it looks like 2 players are dropping all the So tiles.
Each.
Oh, but Steve just
there's
gets
Tenpai
Tenpai
there.
first. So it ended up not being a Sanshoku after all, but still a very nice Ricci Pinfu waiting on the 3-6 pin. Unfortunately, this weight is a little bit less live in the wall than the previous one. Only 3 tiles left. And I imagine Simon will be retaining any of those tiles, any of the 3-6s that he draws.
It's an interesting 8-pin drop. So yeah, Kinyan decides to fold. If she could have theoretically tried to push, but again, probably not enough value there to do so, I guess. Yeah, you see, you dropped the 5 anyways.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Oh no, the 5 got dropped earlier. Okay, never mind. Yeah.
We see Tenpai to the right. Simon, the Honitsu, waiting on the Chun and 2-pin Shampong. Both of those have 1 tile discarded already, so 2 left in the wall for that weight. And a 6-pin was drawn across the table, so that also only has 1 3-pin and 1 6-pin left. So 2 versus 2 at the moment. Oliver, size 3 Monstuji is safe. Might be willing to push if he gets Tenpai, although the 6-pin just does not look safe against either player. Well, here we go. This will be the decider. Does not want it. Okay, so it looks like a fold. Unless something gets revealed to be safe, we'll probably be bowing out of this hand. Despite the 2 Dora. Oh! Well, you can build around the Pinzu now. For example, if the Dora comes out, you can call Pon, wait Tanki on the 6-pin.
Yeah, which is fortunate because otherwise you would have dealt in, but
We have yet to see any of the winning tiles since it became 2v2. Yeah,
okay, so
Oliver recognizes
Okay, so-
3-6 is bad and just refuses
Yeah.
to discard it, even in Tenpai.
I was wondering whether or not he'd say like, "Oh, Tenpai, I'll just," because I did that. Oh, then there's the 6.
Another Tsumo for Steve. No Uda this time.
No,
But still, keeps increasing the lead here. Okay, is this the hand that finally ends the run for Steve? It looks a little bit sloppy. 4 unique honors and then some random shapes. The Sozu shape isn't bad. The Monzu isn't bad either. The 7-9 is a little bit weak, but at least you have blocks. You can build around that. To the right, we've got, well, again, a bunch of random honor tiles, and the blocks need some filling. That 3-mon is a nice draw, though. Across
Oliver's
the
hand's
table.
probably the best at this point.
Oh, yeah, that looks really nice. I'm trying to figure out a way to make Sanshoku Ipeco. Actually, it's each on 10 for that. You just draw a 7-so and throw the stick in. The hand on the left is okay. It's better than the first two that we looked at, I think. But also some kanchans to fill there. Yeah, the real question is, can Oliver draw 7-so?
See, so here's the thing. Oliver immediately dropped the 6-mon. I know it's inefficient, but I would have actually kept the 6-mon because it was another pair and pitched the 5-so. Because even if I wanted the more expensive side, I'd want the 7-so anyways to get for the Sanchoku, and then I could just pick the 6-mon. And then I would have drawn the 7-mon and it's like, okay, well, I've got another pair. I know that's not the ideal way to look at it, but it would have been a thought for me anyways.
Yeah, I guess the downside to dropping the 5 too early is you lose the 4-so as a tempai draw. And if you get the 4-so, you can still take the Sanchoku Riichi. But having then you'd have the 6-7, you'd be Ipeko chance or 7 pairs. In the end, it's an east call to the right from Simon, so we might end this quietly with just a 1,000 point hand. Oh, we'll forget that thought. There's a Riichi, a multi-sided 2, 5, 8, 9-so Riichi.
So wait,
that is very interesting. No Dora there, so Riichi no Mi, but you gotta imagine one of those tiles will be drawn, except for the fact that we have an Anko of the 8-pin in that hand. There's an Anko of the 2-pin to the right, and the 5s are getting drawn as well, so there's actually not as many tiles as you'd like. The pair of 9-sos across
is rather expensive as well.
So in fact, are there only 2 tiles left in the wall? There are.
Yeah.
Oliver...
Okay, so confirms the Sanchoku now.
And waits on the Genbutsu 7-so as well as the 4-so that came out, so both tiles safe.
Which means that Kinyan won't get the pair of 9s either, so like
right.
those are basically out of play.
Sort of a race between Oliver and Kinyan to see if anyone can find a 4-7-so before Oliver finds a 2 or 5 pin. And you'd think Oliver would be winning that race. And there's the 7.
Boom. Yep.
So a very inexpensive hand, but it has some interesting implications. It keeps Kinyan below 30,000, and it draws Oliver a little bit closer to the rest of the pack. So the battle for second place is still going strong here in East 3. Simon is the dealer now, has a door in hand, as well as reasonable shapes. I want to make a 3-4-5 Sanchoku if possible, but Riichi is totally fine as well. To the right, there is a chance at Honitsu in the So suit. Chata is a bit far, but the Sozu does have the door 7. So that looks like Oliver's sort of leaning in that direction. Doesn't necessarily need to commit all the way, though. Across the table, that is a hand that is very close to Tempai, Ishanten already, for Riichi or Riichi Pingfu. And then to the left, we've got Tanyao, Ishanten.
There's no Pinfu for Kinyan because she hasn't found her pair, and whatever weight she has left, it's going to be...
Oh, well,
right
this...
now,
yeah.
now it's a Tonki weight, right? So...
Had she paired up, she was headless. So if the 8-mon, 9-mon, 1 or 2 was drawn, then you'd have your Pinfu. Oh, you're right. It was a Penchun regardless.
There's no
Pinfu. So there's no Pinfu, okay.
Yeah.
Chooses not to take the Riichi here, hoping for a better Tonki, or perhaps to just draw into like a 3-sided weight like it is here.
It's not Pinfu again, but it's a 3-sided weight.
You take those. Riichi no Mi, but 3-sided. Well, it didn't work so well last time, but that was 4-sided. Maybe 3-sided is better.
3 of the 1s are taken. 3 of the 4s we can see. And that leaves the 7s, which are the only things that are alive. So actually, her weight is still bad.
Well, Steve...
The one might come out with the Riichi from Steve, though.
Yeah.
Which, there you go.
Yeah, Steve with a nice hand. Riichi, Tanyao, Door 2. But the 1 pin will come out. Give Kinyan the Ipatsu as well. So 2,600 plus the Riichi sticks come into hand. And she's back over 30k. Oliver back at 21.5.
Yeah, Steve actually did Kinyan a favor with that Riichi because of the fact that he had the 4-pin in his discard pile and the Riichi to boot, which made everybody really want to bail, and the 1-pin suddenly became a candidate.
East 4 now. Oliver's first chance as dealer. Has the South Anko, but that isn't Yakuhai just yet. Maybe we'll be building it towards a, 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku perhaps. The problem is you're getting a better tempi before you get the 1, 2, 3. So I guess
Yeah,
just drop it and
there
build
goes
normally.
the 2. So yeah.
So it looks like just a Ricci here to the right. I want to make Junchan. Does that make sense?
Uh, it's not wrong. Like there's basically no tiles that are 4 through 6 in that hand, so you can entertain it for sure, but I don't know how fast you can get that and it'd be faster than what Steve has across the way.
Yeah, Steve entertaining the thought of Honitsu here, and it looks pretty set. Oh, well, there's a Tuso draw for Kenyon, so this is actually getting a little bit close. And by a little bit close, I mean Ishan
If you're
Tem.
gonna commit, if you're gonna commit to try to even get a Junchan,
So the door
see,
is the
that's gonna be.
Haku.
Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, you're right. Okay, that's the reason why.
Yeah.
I was like, why aren't you just carding the Haku? Oh, it's the Dora, right? Okay.
It almost feels like Kenyon really wants to wait Dorataki, but actually it's Oliver who's paired it up as dealer.
See, the thing is, I would have considered the Junchan, but now you're already in second row, and discarding that Haku when none have been discarded is probably a no at this point.
Wow, Oliver
So
makes
I think you are stuck.
Yeah. And Oliver makes the shift to Honitsu, so are you willing to drop Dora against a Honitsu? I don't think so. Well, against 2 Honitsus
I mean,
now.
you could have considered that Steve could have had it too.
Right. So yeah, I think you're right. It is absolutely stuck. And Simon on the left is calling for Tanyao. They do say a Tanyao ends it all. We'll be able to end this hand.
You have a lot could be faster than the other hands could be, anyways.
Yeah, I might have even.
That's a pawn there too. Yeah.
So this is Tempai for Steve. 9 Mon Chun Shampo. Now the Chun is the Dora indicator.
Chi.
So now Kenyon now pushing for Doratanki.
Chanta Doratanki.
Boom.
And Tempai for Simon on the 3-6 Mon for Tanya. 3 players Tempai at this moment, and Oliver Ishanten for a monster. 1 Dora left in the wall. And none of these players can use pin tiles, except for the dealer.
Oddly, dealer really can't call a whole lot.
Yeah, would need to call pawn on 2 or 4, or get the chi. Oh, here's a 6, and unless Steve breaks Tempai, he's dealing in.
Yeah, there
might have been considering switching to Chinitsu, dropping Chun Chun, but ends up dealing the 1,000 points. Probably not the worst outcome. A very inexpensive way to move things forward, but would have loved to have won that hand.
Yeah, I think in that particular case, it's like, well, I know I'm not dealing into Kenyon, and I know I'm not dealing into dealer, so if I deal in with this, it should be relatively inexpensive.
And that's exactly the case. Well, Kenyon is the dealer now, second chance. Has a door in hand. Awkward shapes, though. One of those hands, again, that makes you think about Junchan or Chanta, except for the fact that this time you have the 6-0 pair. And yeah, the hand to beat really looks like Toyman's across the table. Simon has a really nice one. Technically Ishanten, but has a Penchan and a Kanchan to fill, so has a little bit of work to do there. Might even just consider dropping the 9-8 and moving to Tanyao.
Sorry, I think I've lost visual here for a second. There we go.
All right, I think a door has been drawn by Oliver. So is the 789 Sanshoku live? No confirmed pair at the moment. Would Oliver even consider calling for it at this point? Well, there's your 8, and the answer is no, not yet. Wants to be able to draw it himself, increase the value a little bit. Dealer's hand still hasn't made that much progress. Sort of solidified the shapes, but still retaining some safe tiles like the Hatsu. That's been twice cut, and the south as well, twice cut south.
For
So
decide, I'm not sure if Oliver really had that Zanchoku on the table at all, because he shifted to hopefully be Tenpai on our Ryanman weight here, eventually.
yeah, with 3 8s visible, 8-pin visible, they suspect Oliver's just hoping to draw another Dora, or wait Dora Tanki. And yeah, Kenyon might be just thinking Chitoy at this point. So it certainly feels like you're way behind in this hand.
Yeah, and you do have the 7-8-8 and the 2-3-3, and you could
1
theoretically think about moving something, trying not to do it, but
1
I can see why you'd choose that. And uh,
Well, we see
that's
2 reaches across the table. Simon was first. Ricci, Tanyao, Pingfu waiting on 3-6 Mon. To the left, we saw the pair of the 7, not the Dora. Chose to discard it and fight. Waiting on 6-9 so, but yeah, draws the wrong tile, so that will deal into Reach Beef Tanyao. Ura-san, what? Where did that come from? Well,
that's pain.
that is huge for Simon, and that knocks Oliver all the way down to 8,500. Now there's a new contender for first place overall. Steve and Simon fighting it out. I feel like that's not the first time we've seen Simon hitting Ura.
And unfortunately for Oliver, this has got to hurt, because he wasn't necessarily in a great position, still around what was it, 20,500 to begin with, but you're sitting at minus 156 in the demotion zone, and you're like, I just need to get something. I just need something here, and yeah, being the only one under 30.
Yeah, I mean, you have Reach Pingfu, good weight.
Worse.
It's certainly a hand worth fighting, and fortunately just didn't pan out. Does have Ishan 10 here for Itsu, but would have to discard the Haku. I'm looking at Oliver's hand across the table, and that's the Dora, which means Steve, as dealer, would be able to call that for an Insta Mangan. The rest of the players, I'm seeing pairs to the right, and on the left, potential Ricci or 1-2-3 Sanshoku. But yeah, I'm really curious how long Oliver will hold on to that Dora. Oh, and the 3, so that's the second one that comes out, so that Itsu is looking more and more difficult to complete.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd ever consider calling it. And ew.
Oh, that's the last 3 so drawn. Of course, Oliver won't be able to tell, but that Itsu is never coming to fruition.
No, not anymore. And you have to wonder, with Sahaku not being shown anywhere, Oliver. I know Oliver is probably desperate, but he's got to believe at this point it's going to have to be Dora Tanki at this point.
Well, Steve, with a very interesting move, found the route to Chanta, so doesn't even need to call the Haku for value here. Oh, and there's the reach. The Haku comes out, will get called. Which weight?
I'd say, well,
Shot is chosen.
Okay, see that I don't think I mind that. I think it would have been a little sus had he discarded the 8. So you might have been wondering, it's like, well, if he discarded the 6 earlier, then why is he discarding the 8 now?
Yeah, it was a 5, a 6, and then an 8. It does ask some pose some questions.
The 9 could have been considered a safe tile of some sort.
Oh my!
Yeah,
well, Oliver just draws the wrong tile again, and Mangan for Steve, so increases the lead now to 53,000, pulls ahead of Simon a bit, and now has the pair of Southwinds as a reward. The wall is being.
This is just brutal for Oliver, and it's just it's all unfortunate. It's not much he can do, but
I can empathize with Oliver. I was in some very similar situations recently. The wall just being unkind at some very critical moments. And Steve has the potential to just call and go with his hand. Now draws another pair of honor tiles, another Yakuhai potentially. On the right, Simon.
I was gonna say, one of the. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, please.
Finish talking about the hand.
Yeah. The right is awkward. Across the table, amazing. The left, reasonable. All right, all you.
What I was gonna get at is like, one of the things I've had to learn while playing in the league, especially just because my own personal record hasn't been great, is that there are games in which you just have a feeling, and again, like I've told people, and I don't recommend this to everybody, but I've been playing this entire season 100% by feel. um, and there are games that you play where you're just kind of like, okay, I'm getting tempi, but I'm winning nothing. And you almost just have to accept that, like, you know, it's not going to happen, that you shouldn't try to overextend yourself. You know, try to struggle to get the couple hands that you can get, but, you know, just accept that it's just not going to happen. I don't know if it would have helped Oliver in this case, but I think for me personally, it's, again, this is a feel thing, so I don't necessarily, people can take it or leave it, but there are just those games where you look at it and you're just kind of like, this just isn't happening, is it?
Yeah,
And
I think
so realistically at that point, it's even less trying to win hands and just making sure you just don't put yourself in a position where you could just inadvertently pay in for whatever reason.
Boom.
Steve has had 5 pairs, but chooses to call this and aim for, well, something along the lines of Toy Toy, perhaps. Could also end up being a normal hand as well.
I mean, it's going to be Toy Toy. Like, it's a manga. It's going to be another 12,000. Like, he's definitely going to look for the points here.
Yeah, of course, if you draw 2 5-pin, I imagine you just take the tempi, especially now that a player has declared Ricci and you're exposed. And incidentally, if anybody is not a field player, one of the takeaways I think you can take from that is the idea of not overextending yourself. You know, if you feel the pressure to win, you're getting tempi over and over again, but not winning. Sometimes there can be, you can just build up this pressure to keep fighting, and you might overextend yourself in positions where you really shouldn't be fighting, but because you feel like you're due, you push a little bit farther than you normally would. I think that's something that I've had to work on a bit, not just this season, but a lot in my Mahjong career. So,
and the only reason why I even have this belief in the first place is because I've just been beaten up enough playing Mahjong.
Yeah, Oliver has drawn the winning tile and finally discards it. It was a very pretty starting hand, but Kinyan pulls it out after making the shift to Tanya. Reach Pink Tanya, I believe it was, for 3,900, and the battle continues in South 3. Simon's dealership has a Dora, good pin shape, 3 potential Yaku high pairs. We'll probably start eliminating those once the lone terminals are gone. Oliver on the right, not outstanding here. It looks like at best just going to be Ricci Dora, or potentially 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku if you draw perfectly. Across the table, you're aiming for Pinfu or Tanya. You, of course, would love to draw a Dora and make 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku. And then to the left, that West pair is interesting. I guess you're aiming for Ricci here. There is a route to Pinfu, though.
Yeah, I suppose Steve can't actually just sit tight at this point.
It is South 3. The gap is 14-6 between him and second place.
Yeah, but at the same time, they're dealers, so you can't just try to run out the clock here per se.
Yeah.
Like, I think once you get to Oliver's dealership, you might be able to wrestle a little easier, but I think at this point, like, Steve's probably gonna need to push for a hand, and not like as if it's the tiles aren't giving him the ability to. That's for sure. Bless you. So, yeah. Steve sitting
Has been
still sitting beyond Shanten, but it's improving quite a bit.
Steadily improving this hand, and this is perfect Shanten now. And then Simon with that 7-pin, you keep overloading this pin shape. Might even consider trying to switch it to Tanya. But Steve has not been dropping anything useful. I think calling this is a bit of a desperation play, but Simon says it's late enough, I need to make this play.
Yeah, you're already middle second row, so if you're not making any progress, especially if you want to keep your dealership, you probably have to go.
Interesting choice for Kenyon, and I thought she might do this. The 2-pin cut gives you routes to make Tanyao as well. There's lots of calling options. You can Pon, you can Chi, the 4-pin. Oh, but Steve finds Tenpai and just hits Dama. And immediately Simon draws the winning tile, but does not deal in just yet.
Sumo.
Instead,
Doesn't
Steve
matter.
just Sumo. Would have been Ippatsu Sumo on Orichi. Would have been Bangan.
He doesn't
but
need it. There's no need. That's the thing. It's just no need. And now Steve can pretty much sit back and enjoy the last hand, probably.
Yeah, this is not a bad starting hand for Oliver, but before we switched hands, I noticed a Dora pair sitting in Simon's on the left. And that is Yakuhai for Simon, so can call for the Insta-Mangan, and also is sitting there with a very nice hand. But yeah, dealer, you're hoping for Reach Pingfu, you're hoping to make, Itsu for a little bit extra value, or some type of Sanshoku. You don't look at this hand and, I mean, you look at this hand and you think, all right, it's very promising, but I just have to draw it. And the hand to the right also looks great. In fact, I'm just going to go ahead and say everyone's hand looks very nice.
Which is unfortunate for Oliver.
Yeah.
Home.
There's the Dora, there's the call. Ishanten now for Simon, who has a pair locked up in the 5-mon. So Diamen, Dora, Pon. Just the perfect situation for Simon to climb. Now, will it be enough to overtake Steve on a direct hit? We'll go up to 38-7. 45-7. And Steve will drop to 48. So
no, I can see this train wreck happening. If Simon here gets Tenpai soon, go so Oliver discard the 7. No, but
still dangerous.
Has the 7.
Yeah, depends on what gets drawn.
This train wreck could still happen.
Simon maintains a little bit extra efficiency here. Yeah, Oliver has to play
I just
max
have a
efficiency
bad feeling.
Ishanten across the table for Steve. This is Ishanten for Kenyon as well. Everyone's so close. Oh, there's Tenpai.
Oh no, it's over.
There's still a chance. You have to draw the 7, so.
Or 7-pin.
No, 7-pin's gone.
You could. Oh, okay.
Khan fills the south. South has been discarded. That's not a concern. Yeah, 4-7-pin the weight. The 4-7 is locked away in the other hands unless Steve draws an 8-pin.
Chi.
Oh, does choose to discard into it, and there's that direct hit. We just computed that it wasn't going to be enough, but it does make things a little bit more valuable for Simon, who picks up an extra 8,000 at the end of the match. Unfortunately, the wall was trolling Oliver in this match, and Kenyon just kind of sits there with a positive 5.4 in third place.
I think if anything, Oliver was spared the final indignity of having to discard that 7-pin.
Yes.
And making it worse.
The absolute troll move would have been for the wall to give Oliver Tenpai there with a 5-8 pin.
Yeah. Or at least the ability to call for a Tenpai.
Right.
Like 5-8 pin. And I was just like, I just don't need to see that. That's just gratuitous and not necessary.
Well, Steve, the big winner here, and in the head-to-head matchup between Steve and Kenyon here at the top, well, both players finished positive, but Steve definitely takes a bit of an advantage there. And it looks like they have started their second match. It will be about a minute before that begins. So that gives us a second to look at the full standings here and we'll get that update in. Anything stand out to you after that match?
You mean about the match itself?
Well, regarding perhaps the change in the standings.
Well, I mean,
Steve opens up a bit of a 57 point gap for Steve.
Yeah, I mean, like the top is there's still room to play at the top, especially with some of these players having less games played. There's a lot of difference just because, like, again, like for instance, like I mentioned before, Steve and Kenyon, for instance, are heading to the WRC, so they've gotten some of their future games in ahead of time, which is allowed, especially when people have schedules like they're on vacation or not just WRC, but if they're like on vacation or something
Yeah,
like
by the
that.
end of this week, Steve will have played 20 out of 24 games, so we'll be way ahead of all the other players.
Kenyon
Perhaps,
will have games in hand, and actually everybody else below him will have games in hand to try to catch up.
right.
It's more, I guess, looking on the other side of it, where you have a big gap now between Arthur and Huang there from 10th and 11th, and then hopefully things turn around here for Oliver, or at least in this fourth game here, because you're starting to run out of games here, and the more desperate you get, it's just not a great feeling.
Well, here we are in the fourth game. Simon will be our first dealer. Opens with a Dora and, well, shapes. We'll be drawing and hoping to improve those. To the right, we've got Steve again with, well, these are a little bit awkward. It has honor tiles and 9-pin 9, so we'll probably end up getting cut, and then we'll see where we stand. Across the table, Tanyao type shapes. Oh, and now you've got a pair, so this really does look like Tanyao with potential Pinfu. And there's even a Sanchoku in there to be built somewhere. Perhaps the 456. And then to the left, we've got Kenyon, who is has the potential to make Itsu in the Pinzu, but probably just aiming for Ricci here. Ricci Dora 1.
Yeah, everybody's got a Dora, but not everybody can use it very effectively.
Yeah, one of those hands where most of them are kind of slow to be built. Only one can really be opened, and that is Oliver's across the table for just the cheap Tanyao or Tanyao Sanshoku. Would of course love to. I mean, the shapes are excellent there, so you would love to just draw into it naturally and go declare the Ricci.
Yeah, and it's slowly improving. Like that 3-so did help a little bit, but it's kind of more lateral than anything else.
Yeah, it seems like the one tile you really need is the 5 Mon. There's only 2 left on the wall to be drawn. Well, that's an interesting 2-pin for Steve, who can now entertain thoughts of 1-2-3 Sanshoku as a means of incorporating the Dora. Chooses to drop the 8-9.
It's a decent hedge right now, I think.
Chi.
Yeah, oh, a call from Simon. Yeah, this is, you'll see the 2-pin lighting up, but that is not a Yaku, so will not deal in if it's discarded. Simon's shifting to
What?
Tanyao here. Oh, 5-6-7 Sanshoku is also possible. So it doesn't need to be Tanyao.
I think that 4 will tell us where Steve's thinking here. Okay, so going more for efficiency with that than anything else. Although still holding on to the 1-2.
Yeah, we'll sacrifice efficiency to be able to maintain the Dora, but we'll play everything else as efficiently as possible. And there's the call for Tanyao Sanshoku for Simon. 2 5-pin is the weight.
Oh, Steve got so lucky there.
Steve
Gets
actually
the 3-pin, doesn't have to punt the 1-2 anymore.
right. So Ishan 10 for this Ricci Tanyao, not Tanyao, Ricci Pinfu Dora. Kenyon on the left, Ishan 10 now. And all across the table, just sitting on this 5 Mon for Tanyao Sanshoku.
Each.
Oh, now declares the Ricci.
Maybe tried to give it one shot to try to see if they could get it, and then otherwise just maybe put pressure, get everybody to go away. Monzu are a definite nope against Oliver, so we'll see how many of them are going to want to continue with their hands.
Yeah.
Probably as long as they don't draw Monzu, I
Gee.
think they'll probably just continue to push, which they are.
Steve does call into Tempai. It is not a Yaku.
相撲
And it doesn't matter. All are with its sumo, so that's actually massive. Riichi, Sumo, Tanyao, Sanshoku, and no Ura, but a Mangan Sumo is a great way to start it off.
Yeah, definite, like just sigh of relief.
I believe that was the last 5
Especially-
mon as well, so. Huge win there. Well, Steve's dealership now, Haku pair, shapes to be completed after the call is made. Not a lot of value, but there's the chance to incorporate the Dora 5, so. We saw a call across the table from Kenyon, who is also just doing the call and go thing. Chance that 567 Sancho could do accompany that Hatsu. Moving back to the right, is that Ishanten? It is Ishanten.
It is Ishanten.
The weakness in that hand, of course, is the 1-3 Kanchan in the Pinzu.
You could.
You-
Okay, so does defer for now. I was thinking maybe you just pitch the 1-3 at that point after drawing that 4.
Yeah, because you'd like to draw around the 4 mon and make Nipeko, but okay. Ends up drawing a mon tile and throws that 4 back. The hand to the left. Looking like Ricci here, but... Oh, that would have been Tempai. There's all sorts of things Oliver can aim for, though. Could end up even with
本
an Itsu. In
Yes,
the
that's
mon.
why I wasn't sure if you discarded the 4 to discard that 4. So I think I could have easily just decided I'll wait. Might try to get my pair elsewhere and pitch the 4 mon, but I'm not quite sure if I would have ended up making that type of decision. But I would have entertained it for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely an awkward position. You could have made a lot of different choices there. Kenyon across the table finds Ishantan now. The most punishing draw for Oliver would be to grab the Dora here.
Well, I mean, at that point, either you hold on to it and make it Dora Tanki, or you just have to throw it back.
Now Kenyon has the opportunity to upgrade one of these Dianmen shapes to a Samenchan. Chooses to drop the 3-2 because she wants to accept the Dora 5 so likely. But Steve finds Tempai on the 3-pin.
And there's a 3, so it's about 5 or 6 turns later. So it is technically a backfire, but at that point, you've already just kind of soldered that away.
Gee.
And not worried about it.
Tempai now for Kenyon as well, waiting on that 5-8 so. It's actually a reasonable number, but the 3-pin is drawn. Will it come out? Yes.
Yeah.
4
And deals into the Kanchan weight for only 1,500.
Which it could have easily looked a lot worse, considering that Steve hadn't discarded any Pinzu. So 1,500 is probably just like, okay, well, there you go.
Yeah, Steve opens up with a Dora and a nice Mon shape.
本
Oh, but the tune call immediately from Kinnan, who does not want to let Steve have a dealership. This is the second early call we've seen, and sometimes you just draw the tiles and you're given the hand to call and go, but having it happen twice in a row makes it feel like Kinnan's really aiming to shut Steve down. Didn't manage to do it last round rather, but has nice shapes to do so in this round. Speaking of nice shapes, the hand to the right, Oliver's, looks quite pretty. A chance at reach Tanyao Pingfu Dora 1.
That's an interesting discard by Kenyon with that 6-pin. You had this Kanchan 3-5 that I would have considered pitching, but she didn't. And she is Tempai waiting for the 4-mon, but if you had kept the 6-pin, you still would have been Ishan 10 at that point, but your final weight could have at least been a little bit better. And you could have incorporated the Dora to boot.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where you've got a lot of pairs, and you are trying to decide which are your better calling pairs. Oh, the 4 does come out from Steve, so we'll claim the points right back. There's 1,000
Well,
plus the 300, so 1,300 is 200 shy of the original payment, but pretty even exchange there on that dealership. Oh my, look at this. That's 2 Dora, and Tanyao and pairs.
so close. Oh god, this is gonna be one of those where it's like you're actually close enough that you could entertain like a Sonanko Suanko,
Right.
but you also have oh my gosh.
Well, we are Suanko Ishanten, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I was gonna say like, well, you can either if you want to entertain it, but you also have Dora, so you're like, well, do I want to go for the big, hit for the home run, or do I just go for the, the nice little triple and score a couple of runs at this point?
I mean,
with that Dora draw though,
it's so tempting just to call anything.
I think it's more tempting at this point to
I mean,
Is it more
Tanya Toy
tempting to-
Toy Dora 3. If you can push for the Toy Toy, I think you absolutely do.
I think the part that makes this hard is that he's dealer.
Yeah, it's just so valuable, the
so-
Mongon by itself.
And so having just calling and then just with the Toy Toy with the Dora, it's still going to be rather expensive because you're a dealer. But Ishan 10 for Yakuman. And the other thing is that, the tiles that he's waiting for
passed it.
Tenpai,
He passed the Tuso.
the tiles that he's waiting for Tenpai are somewhat outside. The Tuso 8 pin. So they're not necessarily tiles that could end up being held up in people's hands, and that might mean that he might want to try to push for that. But
Well,
I guess holding on to the 4 is the hedge, right?
Yeah. Could have called into Tenpai there, declined it, and now Kenyon is Tenpai in the 5. 5 so. And now Tenpai across the table for Simon on 3-6 pin. And now Tenpai on the left, and this has potentially Sananko, but does choose the Sananko weight. Cons the Dora. The north. Oh, there's so many I can't even decide which one to look at. Okay, the Ricci on the left has the north, 5 Mon. There are 3 tiles left. The north hasn't been seen yet outside of the pair in hand. Across the table, 3-6. All the 6s are gone. All the 3s are gone except for 1, so only 1 tile for that hand to win. Oh no. But Kenyon broke Tenpai.
Kenyon broke Tenpai.
Oh, and the calling back to Tenpai would deal in. Of course, you'd be 50-10, so no point in doing that. Could have even tossed the 8 there, but that deals in. Oh, the last 3 comes out and deals into Tanyao Dora 1. Absolute pain. And Simon probably doesn't realize what he killed. Oh no, he did, because the door was conned, so he knows exactly what he killed.
He killed a big hand. He doesn't. I mean, like, he doesn't know what the hand was before he started calling.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was entertaining. And this hand could be the same. We have East as the door. We are in the East round. There's a pair to the right. That is Simon, who's sitting there just lying in wait for that East to come out. Kenyon has one in hand. We'll see how long she chooses to hold on to it. And Simon's hand keeps improving with this 6-mon draw. And Simon's hand is pretty much set. All the shapes are there. You just need the East. And then 1 more tile. And these discards look so shady. 5 so, 7 pin, 5 pin? What is the rest of the table thinking?
The rest of the table is thinking, I don't know if I want to discard that East.
Yeah. Well, across the table, Steve has drawn into 3 pairs, one of those being the Haku. 2 tiles away from Tenpai there.
Chi.
Okay, the Chi sort of lightens the mood a bit, perhaps.
Well, the Chi lightens the mood because A, it's not Manzu Honitsu, B, it's nothing Kokushi, but discard that E still, that's still Dora X, that's still Dora 3, right? So it doesn't eliminate that yet from the picture.
Right. And you're wondering, well, if you're opening it for Tanya, why were you discarding all those beautiful Tanya tiles? Was your hand just that amazing, or was something else going on?
Yeah, exactly.
What possible shapes could you have remaining?
And this could give the impetus for other people to push so long as they don't have the Dora.
Right. I mean,
which again puts Kenyon unfortunately in a bad spot.
Yeah, well, there's Simon with the Tenpai. Atozuke waiting for the East. There is 1 left in wall to be drawn, and then Kenyon holding on to 1. You know, she's also holding on to the south here, although that is twice cuts, so less dangerous.
Well, Kenyon also has 4 pairs, so if she pairs up again, it's possible that she goes Chitoy and holds on to that east for dear life.
I mean, she might have even already made that call. I'm never dropping the east, so the only way this hand completes is 7 pairs. And there's another pair drawn on the left for Oliver, but his hand looks a little bit more like Tanyao.
Ew. I hate that Onko. I hate that Onko right now.
That is so awkward. It's sort of pushing you back into a normal hand again. There's still a route. You just have to... Well, the 9 pins are already gone. Yeah, it's just a very difficult route.
Well, the hard part is that, okay, so Simon discarded all the non Monzu tiles, then called a Pinzu tile. So you'd have to be suspicious again of a Yakuhai with the Dora, or you'd still be wary of any Monzu, because what else would you have in your hand at that point?
Right. Okay, question posed to Steve. Do you want to open your hand?
Boom.
Does do so. Drops the 5. All right, this is Tenpai for 3-6, so Tenpai on the left as well for 2-4. And with all these Monzu tiles coming out, it's beginning to look more and more suspicious that it is the East pair, but the 3 so does come out, deal into the cheap 1,000 points. Well, Kenyon, with that deal in, maintains the lead over Steve, albeit a much smaller one, and prevented the large hand from winning, so perhaps that was almost intentional.
I don't know. Like,
it was at least the lesser of two evils.
Yeah, and I don't think she could have justified discarding 6-1 from what I mentioned earlier.
Well, some very interesting hands here. The dealer has 5 pairs already, and Toyman across the table. We see Oliver discarded Dora on turn 3, so that looks like a. I was going to joke about Chuden push, but it looks like a Honroto. Sorry, not Honroto. Honitsu. I'm not sure why I'm getting my Yaku names mixed up. Chinitsu, Honitsu, one of the two. Could even turn into Itsu itself.
For me, this would be a Chitoy hand, but I guess Simon's going to even defer that and go for a Honitsu out with that. Because if you're going Chitoy, there's not really any reason why you would have discarded the 2-pin.
Even defers the Honitsu decision to potentially make Toy Toy.
Yeah, but if that's the case, then why even keep the 6 unless you're just going to call and just get Yakuhai? Like,
yeah, I think if he draws the 5, he'll make 5-8. He'll make the Honitsu call.
The only other reason I could have thought of was either he wanted to defer it further, or he wanted to give the impression that he was going to go for a Sozu Honitsu and maybe slow the rest of the table down.
Yeah, I thought he might consider maintaining the East pair, even though it was dead 2 or cut already. Instead, just chooses to go pure.
Because again, now looks like a Sozu Honitsu, but can use the 9-pin. Unfortunately, the 9 pins are kind of wrapped up in people's hands. So, but the idea, I can see the idea of why.
But you could even see a route for Steve to maybe like draw a 6-pin and turn this into a Tanyao and eventually drop the 9. You could even drop it here. Go for the Ipeco.
I'm not even saying that it's not, he wouldn't do it. I'm just saying that at least for now, it's kind of locked up.
Yeah. Another call for Toyman. This is looking more like Chinitsu. Will we see a third? There it is.
Yeah, you're going to make that call.
So, waiting on the 5-8, both of which have been pulled by Oliver. That's a sneaky wait.
It's one of, I mean, unfortunately, they're stuck in Steve's hand, but yeah, I would have made that call.
This is Tenpai for Steve. How bad is the 1-set? Well, not bad enough. Just throws it out there. Does not believe in the Honitsu.
It's not that he doesn't believe in it. It's just that it's still rather cheap, right? Even if it's just Yakuhai Honitsu, that's 39.
Well, 58 is dealer.
Okay, 58 is dealer, sure. But he's sitting Mangtan, right?
Yeah, that is door 2 in hand. Ricci ping for door 2, waiting for the 5-8. All those are in the left, hand to the left, and then one discarded. So actually, there's only one 8-pin left in the wall. But we've seen Steve draw it before. Oh, Simon does not like that Mon tile.
Oh, Oliver drew that 7 Mon. Could have gone Shanpone 7-9, opted not to. I might have made that change and discarded the 6.
That does seem like a valid play. Oh no.
Uh, well,
Fails.
okay.
Oliver, he recognized what the wall was doing to him from the last game. Says, no, not this time.
That's good discipline there. I don't know if it's just that, it decides I had the lead, I have points, I don't really need to push this. Or maybe he was listening. It's like, you know what? No.
I think Oliver is a pretty disciplined player in general, so I think it was just a very good decision that he would make most of the time, if not every time. All right, South 2, Steve Dealership. Not a bad high pie. Ishan 10 already, actually. It now has an improved weight. Okay, to the right, this looks a little more awkward than Dealer's Hand, but we saw the early call from Kenyon again.
Chi.
And this is Ishan 10 now. Retaining the 5-pin here because you can improve that penchant perhaps by drawing a 4-pin or a 6-pin.
I don't know if there's actually been talked about a lot, but just like, people will hold on to that 1-2 thinking, oh, I just need the 3.
Chi.
But I think it's been, stats have been saying, like, or some discussion about, like, do you keep a 1-2 or do you keep a single 8 or something like that? And I think even in that particular case, you're almost better off pitching the 1-2 and holding on to the singleton.
Well, in this case, Kenyon chose to keep both and was rewarded with a 4-pin draw. And now Tempai with a 3-6 after dropping 2-1. On the left, Simon has been aiming for Honitsu/Chinitsu. The door is the east, and he has one in hand, but this could easily be Chinitsu. By easily, I mean it's Ishan 10 for Chinitsu. Oh, Steve dropping the 8 means the 6 becomes a little bit vulnerable. Oh, and a Dora pair up, so that's Tempai. Wait, the 5-8. Oh, those are running thin, though. Only 3 left in the wall. 1-8 so, and 2-5 so. Oh, the Ricci from Steve indicates a 6-pin is coming out, and that does deal in for the cheap 1,000 points. So once again, Kenyon ends this thing, and we have a very interesting scoreline moving into South 3.
I think Kenyon is probably just trying to play her own version of prevent defense in the sense that, like, I'm just going to try to shut these hands down and try so that people can't build anything.
And to be fair, has started with the Yakuhai pair early in multiple rounds, and sometimes, you just have a game
Speaking
where
of Yakuhai pair,
how about double Yakuhai pair?
Yeah.
That's technically Ishan 10 if you use that as a pair, but I think Kenyon might want a little bit more out of this.
What does Steve have on the left?
I'm not sure. Is it going to be Chitoy?
It's Ishan-chen for Chitoy, and I'm pitching that 7-pin. I'm imagining that's what he's going to do. Kenyon decides to take the Ricci for just Ricci only. Again, it's a 4th turn Ricci. My guess is to shut things down.
She did draw... she did draw the right tile. The 7 Mon filled a penchant, so got the good weight out of it.
Okay, so Steve pushes the south.
Yeah, Steve still Ishan 10.
Didn't call the 5. Actually, it wouldn't have mattered. Actually, it wouldn't have gone backwards. Never mind. And now it's, yeah.
Well, sort of moving away. It doesn't necessarily have to be a fold yet, but it's sort of looking like it's moving that direction.
It's going to be hard to incorporate that 5 when you've gotten you discarded the 6-7.
Yeah, the 8 came out now, so it looks a little bit better, but still not amazing. 9 so is probably okay. Okay, just drops the 5. And another door draw for Oliver here, who can turn this into Tanya door 2. Even Tanya Peiko door 2. 4 tiles left in the wall.
Let's say there's still half the tiles left in the wall.
It's not bad. Where are the 3 so's? 3 so's are across the table, actually, so it is actually a little bit difficult for Oliver. Although you can drop the 2-pin pair, as he's doing here.
Okay, there's another 2-mon drawn over there on the left.
Oh, door draw. It's Suji, but you don't want to drop it anyway.
You're running out of options, though.
Yep, 7 so's cut. If Oliver could ever see a Mon tile, I'm sure he'd be willing to call, but Steve is just hoarding all of them.
Well, I think Steve's just like, it doesn't really have, like, at this point, the next tile to draw discard would be the Dora.
Right. I mean, if you look at the pond, this is technically Ishaten again. And there's the Dora.
Chi.
And there's the call. I just can't wait to see Steve draw another Mon tile. Alright, it passes. We're done. No more Monzu. You could not call into Tenpai here.
That.
Yeah, just pass it. Oh my goodness. Well, that was certainly exciting for a Ryukyoku. And we go to
It's
all
exciting
last.
for us. Nobody knows what exactly happened that hand, unless they go back and look at the video.
Which I'm certain they'll check the log at least. Wow, look at this. Kenyon with a pair of East. So maybe waiting for this very moment, a beautiful high pie and 2 Dora could call for Yakuhai or just use that as the pair in this hand.
Is sitting with Steve.
Yeah, Steve's got one across the way. And maybe Steve says, well, Steve actually is in 4th here, so maybe he wants to fight.
Yeah, that's a good point. Ooh, boy.
Ooh, this is an interesting decision. Yeah, chooses to
No,
throw.
I would say you drop the 2-4-6. I don't see a problem with that.
Yeah.
Actually, you could even go down to Sanchoku route
Right?
in theory.
Yeah, no
I
calls
might
just
do
yet.
it. I might do it if I got the 5.
Each.
Oh, well, Oliver
Doesn't
declares
matter.
Ricci first. He's trying to shut things down from his first place seat. The weight is good as well. Ricci, Pinfu, Ipeko, 1-4 pin. 2 of the 1 pins have been cut already. There's actually only 2 tiles left in the wall for this weight. But it certainly poses some questions to the rest of the table. Now, Kenyon doesn't want to deal in here and drop below Simon, or even
But she can't be
below
no
Steve.
10 here either.
Right. And you have 2 Dora. Oh, it just breaks it up. Okay.
So I guess she'll just. I guess she'll just take if at this point, assuming not not a big hand here, that eventually with any Urador or whatnot, she'll take her second.
The only out
but
is if
it'll be
someone
a
deals
It'll
in.
be a
Each.
negative second.
Oh, well, this is another out. Simon finding Tenpai not dealing in, waiting on the 4-7 Mon. If Simon can hit someone, well, a non-Kenyan, then Kenyan would retain the positive score.
At this point, Kenyon has to hope that somebody else wins here and not by sumo, or they just deal into each other.
Right. Well, another 4 drawn. So only 3 tiles remaining for the 4-7 Mon. Oh, and there's the 4, though.
Dong.
So Oliver actually deals in Ricci no Ura. So
That puts it over 30,000.
that actually puts him into 2nd. That's incredible. So what a comeback from Simon here. Actually robs 5,000 points from Kenyon, who still finishes positive, by the way. A positive 0.1, which is a scoreline I know you are very familiar with.
Yeah, this particular round, yes, it was not streamed, but 3 consecutive third place finishes with a score of less than 1 and greater than 0.
Well, Oliver is the big winner here. Well, actually, with 33,000 in first, the winner.
It's not none of this is big. Like
Yeah.
even for Steve, like looking at that, it's like, okay, a 25,900 last. Okay, I had the penalty as the -20, but that could have easily been a 20,000 point fourth place finish where it's the normal split 2-2.
Yeah, I've had worse thirds, so not a bad fourth for Steve. I mean, it ended up being the scoreline rather. It ended up being quite tight here. Plus 18 goes to Oliver, plus 5.6 to Simon. Kitora Kenyon with a plus 0.1, and Steve negative 24. We'll see. Have the scores updated.
And I mean, if you're Oliver, you're great. You're happy that you managed to bank another first, but it's unfortunately not a lot of points when you're trying to claw yourself out. It is something. Don't get me wrong. I'll take that first any day.
Absolutely.
But you just kind of look at it and go, man, that's just not a lot.
There was opportunity for more as well that just didn't come together. And when it did come together, he made the right move and avoided dealing into a monster hand. So
yeah, for sure.
In the end, we see slight improvement for Oliver. Of the scoreline between Kenyon and Steve gets a little bit closer as well. And
Yep.
Simon slowly climbing at plus 33 now.
Yeah, I mean, again, lots of most of these people have games in hand against Steve. Although for Oliver, really, it's just about getting out of the demotion zone. And again, actually, for him, it might even be fortunate because other people have games in hand to Oliver. So if for some reason they don't perform well, that hurdle to clear out of the demotion zone may actually narrow. So. Definitely hope for everybody, all parties concerned here.
Yeah, at the moment for demotion, it's a sort of a 6-horse race from Huang all the way down to Andre. We're all in the demotion battle, and really anything can happen down there. We've seen massive swings in 1 week, so well, I know there's another match slated to begin very soon, within a minute actually. So I'll go ahead and prepare that. It'll be another A1 matchup. And let's see. Edwin, do you by any chance happen to recall the players who will be in this match?
Let's see, it's the other A1 matchup that's going on right now, right?
Yes.
That would be Amy, Beechin, Vince, and Luce.
Amy, Beechin, Vincent, Luce. I'm going ahead and updating the names as we speak. Should be appearing very soon. Yeah, a table.
So we're talking about games in hand here. Here's a prime example of that, where it just so happens that this particular pairing has a lot of the people in that zone to try to make up some ground between them and the top there.
Yeah, this table, all positive scores so far. And we'll begin in just, well, any second now, really. Yeah, we saw Vincent currently in the lead at this table with 136, so right behind Kenyon in that race for the championship. Of course, in A1, the top finisher will be able to play at the end of the year special. The winner of each season in A1 will get to a seat at that table. So,
and just to note to everybody, this is game 3 out of 4. They played one slightly earlier today, and there was a small break, and then they just had their second game finish right before here. So.
All right, game number 3. Vince is our first dealer. To the right, we have Luce across the table, Beechin. To the left, Amy. And, well, HiPi wants to be Tanya, in my opinion, for Farcon here, but would imply that you need to get rid of the 1-2 shape, and you have other things to discard until that door is drawn. All right, now we make the shift for Tanya door 1. To the right, looks like Pinfu shapes across the table. Not quite Tanya. You've got 4 pairs. Do you think that's a Chitoy? Or is it going to turn into a normal hand?
Um,
It's
well,
awkward.
It's 5 pairs.
Oh, is
Wait,
it?
which?
I'm looking at
Yeah.
Toyman.
Oh, I was looking on my left.
Oh, the left all is 5 pairs. Yeah, that certainly could be Chitoy. And it looks like Amy is actually pushing for that with the retainment of the east and north.
Yeah, across the way.
Retainment? Retention?
I guess it's debatable. You can certainly hedge, I guess, but the shapes just the shapes don't really.
If you draw a 2-pin,
I mean, if you're able to draw around it and get out of it, great. But otherwise, I'm just not quite sure what else you do with this because it
Pom.
just feels awkward.
yeah, Bichan not holding on to these lone honors, which are typically good weights for Chitoy. So definitely hedging here. Vince makes the call for the 8-pin. Ishanten now for the Tanyao. Even has a chance at Sanchoku here. There's a 4, 5, 6 in there. Would be Tanyao Dora 1 unless he can draw the right tiles. And then the hand to the right, also Ishanten. Oh, now Amy draws a connector to the 4-pin, but is probably not holding on to it to, switch to a normal hand, to make a sequence, but rather to prevent Vincent from being able to call the 3-pin. Oh, and just pair it up. Okay, maybe that was just a pure wall read, and will now declare Ricci for 7 pairs waiting on the Dora itself.
Which everybody has.
Yeah, it will never come out. But it definitely puts pressure on the rest of the table. I think if Vinskin's Tempai, the Forso could come out. Here it is, and Luce calls it. So this is Tempai for a 3-6 pin. For Tanyao Dora 1. Oh, 5 is awkward.
But you're not dropping Dora. I mean, you drop 7-pin instead?
Yeah, that'd be a weird Champon. I think you just throw it back.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not good, but there's worse things to discard.
Chi.
And
So no Sanchoku, but you're just going to take the win at this point.
chooses the
Opts for the
Nakatsuchi.
Champon weight. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's less of opting for Champon than... Oh, backfire. Okay. Than choosing the safer discard, but... That's assuming the one mon came out after the Ricci egg. Can't remember if the calls worked out in that way. Oh, is the one chance enough to push this? It is for Luce, and that...
I was going to say, you have the 3 threes, so...
Yeah, you net 8,000 points from that. In fact, it is Bichan across the table who folded and ended up paying out 3,000 as a result. All right, still East 1. No door in hand for dealer. West pair is a little awkward. Is hoping to draw either the East or the Hatsu to fix these shapes. Instead pairs up the 8 mon. Yeah, this is one of those hands that the best you can do is probably just Ricci. And that's a little bit frustrating if you're seeking value, especially in your dealer turn. But you make do with what you have. The hand to the right looks a little bit nicer. The pin shape is very pretty. And another pair means you can fix your head in the shape. It has a Dora 5 mon that Luce would like to draw around. Across the table, this looks like your standard Ricci Pingfu, if you can find a pair. And to the left, also Ricci Pingfu. Already has the pair, just needs to connect to either the 8 mon or the 8 so. And there's a door in hand.
But Vince had the option after drawing the Anko of West. I think there might have been an option to maybe consider Mitsu there.
Yeah.
And then having drawn also the 8-pin, pitch the 1-pin and then pitch the 8-pin. So is really just going to look for any type of good Ricci here.
Speaking of good Ricci's, Amy to the left has a Samanchan. Marichi, Ping Fudora 1.
And now the 3-mon's stuck.
Yeah, that
in
can never
Vince's
come out.
hand.
Yeah, Vince was holding on to the Hatsu and the East, the tone, for a long time. I wonder if he was thinking the most likely way that this hand completes is like some sort of toy or just Yakuhai pair up, and I just call and open the hand up.
It's possible. I just thought that maybe once I drew that 1 pin, I could have easily entertained the Honitsu. Thankfully, he's saved with the draw of another draw of the 3-mon.
Well, this is actually Ishanten for
Wait,
Suanko.
Ishanten for Suanko.
So, well, three bond drawn across the table. So where's the 8? 1 to the left, 1 discarded. Suanko off the table. But Toy?
I mean, sure, but who's dropping those tiles?
Yeah, the 3 would have to come across from Bichen, and Bichen is known to play pretty defensively. Would also probably drop the 4 mod before the 3.
And Vince is kind of stuck because he's already got the 2 Onko, so it's not like you're gonna. It's not like you're gonna. If you for some reason you thought that your weights were dead, would have to switch out and go back to a G-Toy.
Right, yeah. I mean, if you draw enough dangerous tiles, you maybe start dropping from the West Onko, and then if you pair something up and get Chitoi Tenpai, then you push the 2 pin.
Possibly.
We can see 3, or he can see 3 of the 4 pin. And 2 of the 3 pin. Okay,
Yeah,
there's the
7,
West.
so had to give some pause.
But that
So
that puts Chitoi back on as an option.
in theory,
In theory.
how many 3 pins? There's only 2 3 pins out.
Okay, the West is
Yeah.
going in.
I mean, you could try to call back for Tenpai. No.
Samin-chan, everyone else drawing the tiles. There are no 6s left. There are no 3s left. There's 1 9. 1 9 mon.
Yeah, Vince is being tempted here repeatedly, and it just finally just wants none of it.
Does need to pass 1 more tile.
There's the last 9.
So Amy's draws go to every other single player. They all get... Oh!
Really? I guess because of all the other Monzu discarded, but
That is a little surprising, actually, but... You know, so many of the
Yeah.
4s and 5s came out. It was like
that's
double
what I'm
1
saying.
chance,
That's what
yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah, that happens. But Amy just had it. She had the 3-sided, unexpectedly. So, we move forward. Loose calls the Hatsu immediately. One of those hands where you're just calling and hoping that you get the dwarf for a little bit extra value, but really just trying to repeat as dealer. The East might come out eventually, and if that's the case, to the right, Bichen could certainly use that. Has the East pair as well as a North pair. Even a chance at shifting this to Chanta, although it would take a bit of maneuvering. Across the table, 3 pairs. We'll probably end up discarding one of those, perhaps from the Mon shape or just the South pair itself. And then to the left, oh, another call for dealer. Now the East? Yes. Bichen calls. Actually drew into the Chun pair. So there's a world where this becomes Honitsu even.
Honitsu Chanta, even depending upon what you get.
Yeah, that's valid. Well, it chooses decides that Monzu is not the suit. So
That's weird. It's weird to think that Monzu's not the suit because so much. I mean, like even you've discarded Monzu. Everybody else has discarded Monzu.
that would
Not
really,
many people have discarded Sozu. Maybe he's worried that Luce is sitting with the Sozu.
yeah, it would.
Well, I guess the 6 is the Dora. So I guess.
You'd have to drop that. Would also be relying on drawing another pair of honors somewhere. The play is pretty evident, but Luce is not afraid to discard Sozu just yet. It looks like Bichen hasn't been able to make much progress. And there's Tenpai for Luce on the 3-6. So. Oh, but Ricci from Amy just chooses to fight. It's a good weight. 2-3-6, Mon. And the North is
Here's the
called.
3. Luce probably. She probably doesn't have much choice, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, Sumo reached, Sumo Dora. Will there be Ura? Why not? It's Amy. So there's 8,000 points on a Tsumo, and Amy takes the lead, 43,000, moving into East 3, and we'll switch over to Beechen's dealership. All right. Hatsu pair might end up trying to do the same thing that Luce did last round. Does have a Dora, but right now that's a lonely Dora. And it starts to draw more Sozu, so I don't think we'll see the shift to Honitsu. And yeah, the 6 all but confirms it.
There's no shift to Honitsu, but it also probably means this Dora is not being used.
Oh, chooses to pass the first Hatsu. And, well, draws a connector to the Dora, so that's an interesting play. A lot of people will call the honors right away. Beechen says, oh, wait a turn. Now, to the right, Amy has Tanyao, it looks like, but also some pairs, 4 of them.
Home.
Oh, nope, this is Tanyao. So 6060 perhaps? Oh, this is Tanyao door 2, I should clarify. And yeah, the Sozu comes out. Across the table, Vince has a chance at making Ipeco, but so far it's a little bit spread out. Tanyao Ipeco would be nice, though. Of course, also trying to use the Dora. And Beach had rewarded for passing the first Hatsu, just draws the last one himself. So Ishanten now would call a 3-mon probably if it came out, but Luce has drawn 2 now and has so many Manzu honors. This is Ishanten, actually. Beechen does not...
Could have taken
Yeah.
Tenpai, again doesn't call here.
Wants more out of this. I mean, it has an early 6-mon discard, so perhaps likes the Suchi Trap Reach. And there we see it.
Yeah, I was gonna say with the 6-mon discard, I wasn't really gonna mention it because it was one of those things where it's a nice setup, but most times it doesn't work out. But it happens to this time around.
Oh, so Luce feels that the 5-so is not worth pushing on the Ipatsu turn. It drops the Genbutsu 6-mon instead. But now what? You have 3 tiles of safety with the 8-mon. Oh, but chooses the Suji, and so it pays off. Beechen, the patience. Rewarded. Richi, Hatsudora, 7,700. And that's a big win for Beechen.
Home.
Well, Hatsu discard Amy does not wait a turn. We'll call that instantly. And has all the blocks needed to finish the hand. Looking around, I'm seeing Toyman as potentially a fast hand here. 2 Dora and Reach Pinfu. So that's each other already.
Amy's hand could be possibly double Yakuhai Dora.
Yeah, Hatsu Nan Dora would certainly be valuable there. On the left, Luce could call the east, but not a lot of value to be had there. Oh, Tenpai, very fast. So after drawing nothing, discarding nothing but honors and Manzu, Vincent on this 4/7 Mon waits. 4 left in the wall.
Amy's eaten the 3/4 and with that 5 it's almost ideal for her to keep that. She'll pitch 7/9 pin more likely.
Although if she draws the 8-pin, 5 is Nakasuji, so it's totally fine to discard the 5-mon. And there it goes after drawing into the Ryankan in the Binzu. Oh, that's trouble. Dodges it for now. Another 4-mon draw. So now the winning tile is starting to come in, but just not to Vincent. And it's becomes efficient to discard the 7-mon. It does deal into Richi Pinku Dora too. That's a Mangan. Oh, well, forget that. When you hit Uratu, that turns it into Hanemon, and all of a sudden we have a new first place.
Somebody's like, yes, somebody other than Amy that can hit Uradora.
Yeah, I mean, do they both play at the same club? Can't remember where Vincent plays, but
I believe that's the case.
So maybe there's just something in the water in New York. So let's say hit Ura. And well, as I was gabbing on, I was looking across at Luce's hand and thinking, man, I wish I had high pies like that every hand. So many ways this could turn into a Tanyao Pingfu. And we're Ishanten already. The West was the Dora, was cut early from Loose and the dealer as well. So Dora, not a consideration in this round, it looks like. Loose could have maintained that 1-so for sort of a double Nobetan shape, but I think prefers holding the 3-mon for Tanyao chances, and you can upgrade to a Samenchan there.
Yeah, I think that's the idea here.
Oh, well, here's your Tanyao chance. Riichi Pinfu, 6-9-so is the weight. No Sanchoku here, but 6-so would give Tanyao. I have not bothered to look at any of the other hands. Can anybody fight? Looks like they're all pretty far away.
They're pretty far away, but they're slowly catching up here. At least Amy and Vince.
That kind of kills Amy's hand.
Yeah, it should. Especially that 5. The thing is, the flat 5-so discard there from Loose, and turn 4. I'd probably be wondering what exactly that is, and usually you'd have to worry about it being like a. They talk about with the JPML that if it's a 5-so discard, a 5 discard, you have to worry about 1-4 or 6-9. Loose has already discarded a 1-3, that one on turn 6, so you'd probably have to worry that she might be waiting on a 6-9 if you're looking in that area.
Right. Yeah, when you see the 5-3-1 come out like that, are you that concerned about the 4? Barring the fact that it's one chance here, but...
I don't think I would be as much. I think if I were to be worried about any Sozu, it would be the 6-9 more than anything else.
And unfortunately for Amy, that 9-so was the one tile that got drawn, and so has actually managed to work this around to a 2-away hand, but interestingly, all the 6s and 9s have been drawn by other players. In fact, Vince actually finds Tenpai on 3-6-mon, which I think has more in the wall. Let me check. Oh, well, maybe not anymore. There was one 6-so left in the wall for Loose.
There's still 1 3-mon left, I think.
1 versus 1. Oh, but Loose draws it!
No.
Oh, how does that early reach not win? And Uratu again, Vince.
I think it might be that 5 discard, the 5-so discard, the early 5-so discard, and having eliminated the 1-4 side of it, like if you draw the 6-9, there's really no reason for you to even push that.
Well, you kind of see why you didn't win when the player you dealt into has an Anko of your winning tiles. I think an extra 6-so as well. So holding 4 of your winning tiles.
But they were also holding on to it because they probably weren't discarding it either.
Right.
So,
yeah, well, early call of the East, and that's not Yakuhai for Loose. So you know there's something else going on here, and that something else is the Chun pair in hand. For Dealer, this looks like a very nice sort of Tanyao Pinfu hand. There is a Dora 3-pin in hand as well. So if you, with good draws, could be expensive. You could also open this up and try to finish this sooner rather than later. Beachan across the table, dropping a lot of Mon tiles early, so it looks like that hand wants nothing to do with the Monzu. But it's not Honitsu either. It's just Ishanten for Haku Dora 1, as I know Beachan is looking for that 3-pin. Actually,
the only problem would be that like the discards indicate Pinzu Honitsu. I wouldn't want that to be my final weight in this case.
Yeah, Loose Atozuke now for the Chun. And both are on the wall. Beachan finds Tenpai, does not declare the Riichi. Yeah, it's Tenpai. And the Itsu that is getting built by Amy on the left might just be too slow here. Discarding
could
7.
turn into something else.
Yeah. Especially with his 4 draw. Yeah, 8.
Because the thing is, it's not like you believe Loose was playing for Honitsu anyways, because the 9-so was the first discard. But yeah, it doesn't matter here.
Chun comes out, deals it to 3,900, but from beach ends, that gives Luce a fighting chance at making at least third place, if not more. And this is Luce's dealership. Starts with a Haku pair, no Dora in hand. We'll be trying to improve the shape around the 5 pin, either to accept the Dora or draw a Dora, or to make perhaps a 3-4-5 Sanchoku for value. I think at this point Luce just wants to hedge Honitsu, but just complete the hand and go again.
Yeah, I think you're just probably for Luce the way she plays, it's fairly standard. So
Yeah.
With not much value here as it stands, it'll just be try to finish and get what you can get and go on to South 2-1 hopefully.
That's a very natural way to play this hand. To the right, nice shapes. Could end up being a Ricci there. Across the table, also reasonable shapes. It just needs to draw a connector to one of those pin tiles, and then it'll look very pretty. To the left, Vincent is... well, looking for Sanzo is the big hole there. Everything else looks nice, though. I'm trying to see who's got Dora, and there's some hesitation because no one has it. They're all in the wall.
And Vince drew that 3-mon, didn't pitch it. I wonder if he was worried about what Luce might have behind. And I could see why Luce pitched the 3-5 so in favor of the 1-2, because even if it's a bad weight in that sense, she's waiting for an edge tile, which might have been more likely to come out, except for the fact that she looks like she's Mansu Honitsu.
Yeah, this might not be the worst outcome, as now you've drawn another shape, and well, it's probably still too late to go the Honitsu route, but you can look very scary.
If you want to look scary, you discard 5-pin, yeah.
And there's Itsu here as well. You don't need to make Honitsu. Oh, 3 comes out.
That's 3 comes out. You make the call.
So 3-6 will be the weight. Not many. Oh, well, 3 comes out immediately. Usually when the first tile passes, you think there's a chance the other one might. You might be able to, even if a call is made. But in this case, the answer is no. The second 3-mon does deal in. And
this is a not bad starting hand at all.
Yeah, this is much better.
No Dora, but can easily end up on a good weight at the end here.
Yeah, good weight. Tanya, potentially even 3-4-5 Sanchoku. To the right, ooh, pairs and an Anko could be exciting. Across the table, there's the South pairs that could be called for Yakuhai. And Amy does tend to like to open in this situation, especially I think because you're just barely over 30,000. You don't want to let Luce come back into this game, or Beechen for that matter. So if you can quietly move things forward while increasing your lead a little bit, that makes a lot of sense. And Vince has the Dora, the only player to have the Haku in hand. But also good shapes for Tanyao as well. We'll see how long he retains that.
Sitting Ishan 10 now. Should get rid of the 7, so there you go.
Yeah, this is a very nice Ishan 10 for Luce. Could end up on the 3-sided weight. And you said at the start, very likely to have a good sided weight at the end. But Tempai for Amy actually gets there first for the South only. Would be 1,000 plus Honba. Oh, that draw's annoying. The Peiko is tempting.
No,
and
but if you do that, you're...
It's not that efficient to drop the 5... Inefficient. What am I trying to say? It's not that inefficient to drop the 5-mon. But yeah, just plays it straight.
And if you had your pair guaranteed elsewhere and it wasn't stuck, sure, but with the way the shape stood, if you go for E-Peiko, you're just handicapping yourself.
Yeah, the 5-6-6-6 shape is just so strong, and ends up drawing the 7-mon, declares Ricci, and now Amy's drawn the winning tile. Will she break Tempai? Does have the pair of 7, so to do so. Oh, it just uses the 3-pin, which had come out from Beechen, I believe. Yep, and also is Genbutsu.
Yeah, I think the 2 she'll even consider safe to discard, yeah. Even if it is Suji to the Ricci tile.
A second Dora draw, and now Vince. Some real temptations to push for this. 9-mon, not safe. Chooses not to push it. We'll throw the 8 so instead. Could still call the Haku into Tenpai though. Oh, 9 gets pushed by
Looks
Amy.
like-
And yeah, 3-6 for Amy here. So 2-5 so versus 3-6 so. I think it's a 2 versus 3, and the
ドン
3-6 will win out. So once again, lose with an early reach that doesn't pan out. Amy will steal the sticks away. And we move to South 3. Bichen's dealership has a door in hand. Nice shapes, could transform this into a Tanyao relatively easily. Oh, the pulls in the weakness in the hand immediately, draws the 7 pin. And this hand is Ishanten. To the right, it looks like Honitsu is being built here. We do have a Chun pair as well as a lone Hatsu and Haku. So maybe even some dragon business.
There's Ipeko on the board.
Oh, Bichen just drawing beautifully right now. Really gunning for that second place minimum here.
Imagine if he ends up on the 5-6 weight.
Yeah, I mean, it's
Oh.
incredibly likely. And even draws the 3-mon to become even more efficient. Okay, finally a tile that isn't golden. It's not sparkling. Oh, well, that's Tenpai, but he takes it.
That's a.
ポン
I guess I could see it. Wait, is that show song? There are chances with Amy over there. On the
I
right.
know, the dragon shenanigans are actually live here. Oh, the Chun's coming in
リーチ
and declares the Richi too. Called
on.
Shosangan Ishanten. Daisangan Ishanten. And the Hatsu is still in the wall. The 5-mon does have to come out of Amy's hand, but there's only one left in the wall to draw. No way she cons this, right? Right. That just throws that right back out. Well, 6 is not the right tile. Where are the Hatsu?
Unfortunately, if you're beach and you're sweating bullets now. 'cause
Oh,
you're like,
absolutely.
I don't. What the hell? Is
Oh!
going on? Oh!
Daisangan
What the hell
Tenpai.
is that on the right?
2 in the wall. Oh, it's a
No!
zero!
She doesn't need Dora. She doesn't need her Dora.
Daisangan. Bichen will eat the
Throw
Oyakaburi.
Honitsu on that as well.
Yeah,
just for-
Daisangan
just for
Honitsu.
kicks.
Daisangan Honitsu Toy Toy. And Amy, 66,000 points. Absolutely steals this game.
Too bad it's not 66,600. What the heck was that?
Oh my goodness. Started with a pair and 2 lone dragons. Drew into the pair of Chun, called the Haku, called the Chun, drew into the Hatsu, and then drew the final Hatsu. That is insane.
Heck? Like, what the actual heck? I'm not
ポン
swear here, but what the actual heck?
Well, Amy's not done yet. She wants another dealer round. Calls the Hatsu, Ishanten for 1,500. And the rest of the players, well, Vincent on the right is at least in second place, at least a positive placement right now. But Bishen, who ate the majority of that sumo, 16,000 points, whereas the other players only paid 8,000, is now in a battle for third and fourth with Luce.
I'm in third.
Yeah, Luce is in third with 8,200 points. Now, no Honba, no Richi sticks out yet, so Bichen needs to make more than 2,000 actually. It's 2,100 is the gap. And Amy Tenpai. 5-8 so. There are four tiles remaining in the wall to be drawn. Bichen draws one, but he can use that. He can turn this into a Tanyao, but that's not enough. Not even 1,000 direct is enough. So it needs to declare Richi. And this is the way to do it. Richi Tanyao would be 2,600 minimum. That Anko is a huge pickup. Oh, and another one. Okay, this is Tenpai. 3-6 is the weight.
リーチ
Declares the Ricci. Oh, Amy draws it. Plays it safe. Still Tenpai on the 6 pin, so a discard of 6 so. So a 6-0 would be double Roan. Could even switch around now if she manages to draw.
There's no, really, there isn't a point, right? She could have easily fought for this, but really, there's no point.
Yeah.
Like, you're at 66,000 points. You just scored a Daisangen. Like, have your small little 2,000 points. I'm gonna go ahead and take my first.
Yeah, and Bichen does find the Tsumo, reached Tsumo Tanyao for 1,000, 2,000. Will claim third place here. And, well, the story of this game was Daisangen. We thought it was all the Uradora. That was the story of the game until South 3. Plus 49.2. And does that put Amy in contention now? She was at 48 before.
All I know is that in the sense that, like, people were saying, like, it's, with shenanigans with Amy with the Urador, it's like we didn't really have that explosion. Like I said, she didn't need it apparently.
No. And that moves Amy all the way up to 4th. Actually, Vincent surpasses Kenyon with that 2nd place at 150 now, but Amy's on the climb and we have one more game to go. It will begin in about 2 minutes, so we do have some time to look at the big screen, the full standings.
Oh.
Well, Steve's still at the top here, but getting chased down. I mean, we said there were games in hand. Apparently, they're taking place immediately after. And I kind of just want to go back and rewatch that hand from Amy's perspective. Amy streams her matches, right?
I believe she does. So
I hope
she'll probably have a clip of that.
Yeah. If anybody is watching is a member of the American Ricci Mahjong League, check out. Stay tuned. We're hoping for a clip. And
I'm actually just looking at her stats right now. It's like her deal-ins her win and deal-in is underwater in the sense that her deal-ins are more, but that's a 26% win rate is just that's a lot for A1.
it is second highest overall. Only Luce has a higher one.
And the funny thing with Luce is like the EV of Luce's hands, she's got the highest, but at the same time, she's only sitting at plus 36.5.
Yeah, that's actually pretty insane.
I don't know if it's as a result of playing, I guess, for lack of a better term, standard mahjong.
I mean, consider this. Before this match, Luce had 0 fourth places.
Or you mean before this set?
Yes.
So I certainly am not going to like disparage like learning efficient play and everything, but I've always been under the sense that you have to be able to play a little bit slightly different than full efficiency, because I just think that ends up being predictable.
Yeah, although I don't necessarily think that's the reason why. I mean, if you play this well, you should be rewarded.
I'm not saying in this case here like that's the reason why Luce
right
has a high EV but still sitting at plus 30.
Just a general sentiment.
To me it's just a general sentiment that like, because believe me, I would imagine, like, I have high respect for Luce as a player and she plays very solid, but she's also known for just playing all by the book, and for me it's by the book too.
Yeah, I think it must be just players running away with games. It seems to be the players who are up at the top have been able to just dominate a table and win plus 60 like Amy did, or even more, as we've seen from Beechen and some other players. But we're into game 4. This will be the final game of the evening, and this is Luce, who is our dealer. Vince to the right, Beechen across the table, Amy to the left. Awkward number of honor tiles without any pairs for Luce. We will be discarding those and hoping.
Are you back on the screen yet? I'm still on the standing screen.
Oh, you're right. Let me swap that over. Thank you for pointing that out. I had accidentally switched to the wrong screen on my end, and so I didn't notice that. Yeah, there we go. So finally a pair for Luce, that being the Hatsu. Still awkward hand to the right that looks a little bit better. The shapes are a little bit cleaner. You can incorporate the Dora and your Ishanten. Across the table, that is Ishanten as well. And headless, actually. So we'll be using a Dora in some fashion. And to the left, Ishanten, we've progressed very quickly. There's a chance for a 5, 6, 7 Sanchoku on the left. You'd have to draw the 7 so first, though. And well, Luce has found a way to maneuver this hand to something that can actually win. Draws a door and is able to incorporate it in the hand with a 6-pin. And now has a pair, so actually all set. What was looking like a very awkward start is actually has come together nicely. All right, who will find Tenpai first? There's plenty of value to be had in these hands. Well, we have our answer. It's Amy with the 6-pin, 7-pin weight. No Pinfu here, no Tanyao, but the 7-pin is Dora. So Riichi Dora, 1, potentially 2. And now the question is posed to Vincent on the right. Do you want to push against this? And the 8-so is somewhat of a push. Not willing to give up the hand just yet.
A whole lot of information to go off of. So
yeah.
Most things are going to be a push in this particular sense.
Started with an edge towel, now drops a second 8.
Like
okay.
the 4-so is a push, right? So
this is Beechen's decision point. It's awkward because it's a Furiten 1/4 mon weight if you choose to discard the 6-so, and then maybe for that reason decides just to play it safe with the 5 Nakasuji. Oh, well, same choice. A similar choice. Chooses the nice weight, but instead Amy finds the 7-pin, the max value Dora 2, and an
and
Ura.
there's the sumo.
Yeah, so Mangan for Amy, just continuing right where she left off. All right, East 2, Vincent's dealership. Okay start. Potentially Ipeko in the lower pin. Wants to draw more connectors to these floating 3/6-so and the 7-pin. To the right, potentially becoming Tanyao. Of course, you can, but with a 7-mon draw, you can use the Dora 9-mon. Across the table, that's a Hatsu pair. Could be a Chanta Sanshoku, perhaps. Yeah, we'll wait and see how that one develops. That hand can also use the Dora, which has yet to be seen, by the way. Even the hand on the left doesn't have it. It just looks like a Tanyao Pinfu.
I seem to have lost visual again, sorry.
Whoops. Yeah, for some reason tonight, the visuals aren't working amazingly. But hopefully it's up now.
Yep, we're good.
And 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku possible for Vince here. Would you be willing to open for it at this point?
Let's see here. Let's see what I see out there.
Maybe, let's say...
I think if I got the 3-mon, maybe.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to say.
I don't think I'd do it if I got the 2-so.
Well, Amy is not afraid to open up here for the Sanshoku Chanta potential. The Sanshoku is locked in at this point. You're going to need the 3, and you already have the Manzu 1, 2, 3 shape set.
Getting out of his Sanshoku.
Yeah, but this does open up Ipeko chance as well as you just have a nice Yankan here. You might even just throw this back.
Would you, or do you just toss the 2 9-sos?
Well, I think you'd make the 9 so cut if you think there's a chance to make Tanyao, but I like Nyankan as a shape. Well, things just got kind of awkward. I guess that's an Anko, and you're still Ishanten, but waiting for the 2 mon or the 3 mon, in addition
Yeah, I
to
mean, I
your
guess I
9.
guess I can.
So
It makes sense to make that discard, I guess, because of the fact that you've eaten a lot of your outs. But oh man,
oh, this is working
it's
back into a
awkward.
Sanshoku. This is the big brain play by Vincent. After he drops the 2 mon,
If he ends up waiting on the 3 mon, then
no
yeah.
one's gonna expect it. I want to see the 2 mon cut. Oh. Oh, Amy's just drawing all of the tiles that he needs. I mean, 2 mon still looks like a good weight, even though it's once cut. Unfortunately, Amy has the last one. And
it just feels like a lot of flailing.
yeah, Beechan still Ishanten, has not found Tenpai yet. Amy's got Tenpai, and here's a 3-pin.
Yeah.
Oh, that feels like a deal's in.
You're done. Yeah.
4
Chanta Santa
If you
Fedora.
flail out, you flail around for that long, I'd probably get the idea that something's up here, and I don't like it.
Yeah, well, that's 2.
Again, this is me with a field play here. But
Right.
like, if I've had to shuffle around those Monzu around, it's like, oh god.
Beechan's choosing which tile to double reach with. The 4 so
Beach.
or the 1 so. Here's is the 1 so.
Okay, well, I guess we're done here. We can take a small break, right?
Right. I mean, okay, so
Actually, no. We may not take a small break. Actually, no. The East wouldn't at least come out on the first go around.
Right.
We wouldn't want to possibly deal into double Yakuhai
so
and double Richu.
I wonder if you ever don't take the Ricci there. Why would you not take it?
No, I think you do take it because it's double Richi with the Yakuhai, right?
Yeah.
Double Richi, double Yakuhai, plus whatever you might get, right?
Oh, there's Sumo. Yeah, I was just thinking about the hesitation, potentially what Beechan might have been thinking about. There's door acceptance, there's potential 1, 2, 3 Sanchoku, but the Ricci just seems like the standard play here and doesn't find the more expensive out, but it is a very nice pickup for Beechan, who will go again over 30k this time. Now the Hypai is not as good as the first one. Potentially Peiko and the Pinzu, but just Penchan, Kanchan, not a fun feeling. The door is the south. We see one across the table, but the hand to the right looks very nice for Pinfu. You can draw the 2 pin. Outside of that, you're maybe making Richu, or you can maybe shift this into... Oh, how many pairs there? 4? So Chito is not out of...
It would probably be the okay. Well,
yeah.
Now you have to entertain it.
Yeah,
I would say before I don't know if you would actually entertain Chitoy with that type of with that hand. You draw the Dora. Now it's on the table.
And Toyman, still holding onto that Dora, but this is looking much. Oh well, that's your pair. Potentially could even draw the final south and make it a Nanko, or end up Shampon on the Dora. There's another pair to the right, so Amy very seriously considering it now. Ishanten for Chitoy.
Yeah. Only problem is that your tiles outside of the non are not ideal.
Well,
In
Hatsu
fact,
helps.
Yep, that's exactly what I had done. Yeah.
Oh, but this is
And
Tenpai for Vince. Richinomi.
I mean,
An apt
Okay.
Ricci for Vincent. 3-6 is the weight, and there's 6 in the wall. Sure, that's excellent. Yeah, awkward for Beechan, who draws more pairs and is now
Another
Ishanten.
pair.
I mean,
possibly for what, Tanyao Chitoy? And I'd imagine if as long as you don't draw the 9, so that's probably the angle you'd have to take.
so this is a really interesting position for Luce, who has 2 Dora, and thus some incentive to push. But it's just awkward Oh, and now it draws another winning tile. Well, you can shift that. You can shift with a 9. Just became safe. And Bishan is going to have to decide between the 3 and the 4. Do you believe in half Suji with the 1 so? If the 4
Sumo.
pin... Oh, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would have taken that into account when figuring out what to discard. But again, that's just because I wouldn't take it 100% logically.
So let's sumo for Vincent. Moves us forward again. Amy's first chance as dealer has an Anko of the 7 so. So this kind of looks like a Tanya. To the right, Loose fills a nice Kanchan and has all the shapes needed to complete the hand and a Dora. Can of course improve the shapes with drawing around some of the floaters. Across the table there's a Haku pair, so this could be a call and go hand. To the left, Tanyao potentially. Could call for it even. And
Yeah, you might consider calling for it end of first row if you're not improving at all.
I'm kind of interested in seeing that 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shape expand and make the long shot 6, 7, 8 Sanchoku, but it looks like it's impossible at this point with all the 7 pins being drawn. Oh, a pair of Dora for Amy. So this all of a sudden no longer looks like Tanyao.
Uh,
And there's potential for Amy to make a monster here, depending on what gets drawn.
oh my god!
Well, Ishanten now, with the way this game is going, she's going to draw another
Game
4
is gonna-
so,
we just should just walk away right
a
now.
Dora, a 6.
Put like a screen in front of this. Just let the other 3 players out of their misery and then walk away.
She would have drawn Dora if not for the poem. It would have been
Oh my-
either Sanako Tenpai or just reach Dora 3 if she wanted.
I swear to God.
But that didn't happen. Vince called, and instead is Tenpai on the 2 so 9 so. Only 2 tiles. One of each is in the wall. Ricci from Loose chasing with a 6-9 mon weight. 9 mon, 3 times cut, and all the 6s are in hand, so only 1 tile left in the wall for that. But it
And
convinces.
once again, look at Luce's discard pile. No Manzu up until that Ricci.
Oh, but we'll see a chase here for sure.
Yeah.
Dom.
And there's the deal in for Ricci, Ipatsu Pinfu, and a door. So that's a Mangon. Tides are changing a little bit. Now in Luce's favor, and we're coming back to where we started. A lot of players huddling around 30,000, and only Vince a little bit behind. I did see things freeze up for a moment here, so I'm going to get a refresh in. Good old Tenho bug. We'll come back in just a second.
Yeah, I guess Luce was the benefactor there of the change in flow, because otherwise we really would have had to put a screen up on around everybody else and put everybody else out of their misery.
Yeah, the hands, I'm just looking around, they all look awkward. At least Vincent can call the tune, and Beechin can call the west. But, okay, Beech's hand suddenly looks a lot better. There's 2 Yakuhai, potential Toy
Yeah,
Toy.
see, if
even.
I'm Luce, I'm going for Chitoi here.
1, 2, 3,
I just-
4.
I don't like these shapes. I already have pairs. I would have pushed for Chitoi here.
I wouldn't even hate calling the 5 pin if it comes out.
I don't know.
It's a bit of a long shot, but I could see someone making that play. Now, I wonder if Vincent is going to end up, like, if there's a way he can draw into Honitsu. It looks like he'll find Tenpai before then.
I'm sure he'll try to get to him. Sure.
I'm trying to figure out the route. If you draw the 4, maybe. No, wait, no. Not even thinking about it.
So not even thinking about it.
Yeah, you might drop the 4 Mon first, but that's Dora.
You're in last.
Con.
I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Okay. We see the con. 5 so is revealed to be Dora, and no one has it. In fact, one has been discarded already.
Home.
Oh, there's the call. Tenpai does drop another Dora, but it's a 5-8 weight for Vincent. Tune only, but there's a lot of foo there. See, 24. Sorry, that's an honor set. So 40.
4-8 plus the 32. Yeah.
Sumo would make it a little bit more.
Sumo will make it 70.
Yeah. So do you know your score sheet? You know your 1 in 70?
1 in 70. Well, it's 2 to the third power, which is 8 times 70 is 560. So that would be 1200. Wait, is that right? Because that's 1200, 600.
1200, 600?
Because it's 2 to the 2 plus 1, so that's 8. Times 70 is 560, that's the base value, so it'd be 600. And then 560 times 2 would be 1120, rounded up to 1200. So
Well,
yeah,
let's forget all that. Toy
600.
toy. Math on stream,
It's like-
folks.
Somebody's like, Vince is like, make Edwin stop doing math.
Yeah, I actually do not have that one memorized, but we see Bishen could have called into
Gee.
Tempai. Chose to just bail.
Amy calls into Tempai.
Yeah, does not like the 9 so. I guess Horoto looks possible.
I guess
But-
you just don't want to entertain it.
Yeah, I think he would have won.
Home.
Instead, everyone's fighting for K10. Well, Amy can actually win the hand, but Luce is actually
No,
Tempai
Luz
here.
can actually. Yeah. Well,
It's not- it's
Tempai, but
Yakulus.
Could also end up being Tempai for a hand.
Yeah, Toy Toy is possible. Of course, Bichan is never dropping the 9, and the 2 would deal in
Dom.
to Amy. Tanya Dora 1. Still very tight, but Amy pulling ahead a little bit as we enter South 2. Okay, pairs. 4 of them. Shapes, good. Shapes better. Okay, I don't think it's Chitoy.
No, it's not Chito.
But Dora Haku is paired up to the right. That's expensive. And you have all the shapes you need. Across the table, that looks like more of a normal hand, and right now it's hard to make Tanya, so a Ricci for Amy. For loose, Chun pair, the last one comes out and gets called, yeah.
So now you're actually Ishan 10 for Chitoy, oddly.
Oh, so Chitoy's still on the table for Vince.
And I'm actually the only way to get out of this is to like draw like a 5/8 so or something like that.
Well, there's an 8 so. But you have to give up the Chitoy. It doesn't want it. So you could drop something like the 7 so or the 2 so and hope to draw a 4-7 pin. In the meantime, Luce finds Tempai in the 2-5 so. 4 left in the wall.
I think part of it also is if you look down the line for Vince, he would have had to probably discard the 2 so 7 so and would be on a Pinzu weight. And yeah, he did discard the 1 pin, so you wouldn't necessarily think of Honitsu, but you would probably entertain that he'd have a Pinzu weight in the end.
Yep, we note that Luce discards the 5 there, maintains Tempai, but now has the ability to con the 7 mon, should it come out. And it does come out, but it does not conned.
Yeah, loose.
It is extra food this way, but it's not so useful at the moment. Well, this is Tempai for Amy, but this is Fruity 10. Takes it anyway. Oh. Loose with a fake bail, tossing the 7 so from a 7 pin from hand. And yeah, 6-9. Not looking amazing here. You need to draw it yourself, and there's only 3 tiles left in the wall.
But the question is how many people will push.
Right.
Dom.
Well, 2 so does come out first. And that puts Luce in the lead.
Ever so slightly.
Yeah, this is still so intense. Bishan has just been sitting here as the 2 of them hit each other back and forth. I guess Amy hit Vince earlier, but Luce and Amy have been increasing the score slightly, and Beechen's just waiting for that hand. The hand might be this one. This looks like a pretty nice start for Tanyao, maybe Pinfu. There's Dora inclusion possible. Interesting to the right, Amy's got the Chun pair and the West pair. Doesn't have to be Honitsu, though. Could be 3-4-5 Sanchoku. It's definitely possible. We saw Luce call the North across the table. That does look like a Honitsu push in the Manzu.
Yeah, it's a pretty obvious Honitsu push.
And then the hand to the left is Ishanten. Would like to be Pinfu, but you'd have to draw into the So shape first. Either the 6-So or the 8-So would do it there. Second call for Luce, and neither of these are value honors. So this is the fabled Bakahon.
Yeah, and what's worse is that like you have that 1-2 Penchon weight, and it's just ugh.
Yeah, with two of the ones cut already, like there's worlds where you turn that into your pair eventually, but it's a little bit harder when the one mana is already cut. By the way, Bishin Ishanten is Tenpai
リーチ
throws the Richi stick out. There's a 5-8 weight for Richi, Pinfu, potentially Peiko, and this is the big hand that he was looking for. Luce finds Ishanten. A little bit tough for Vincent. Throws the 9 out. Is revealed later to be safe. And this is technically Tenpai for Luce. And the 1 is pushed. The 1 mon.
I mean, if you're pushing, I guess a Hellweight's not great, but like, who's discarding a 2?
No con there. Absolutely not. Not in this tight score line. Another one of the 5s drawn. Okay, that's 3 5s gone and 2 of the 8s. So only 3 left in the wall now for Bichen. 4 pin. The 5 came out right before the reach. Does get thrown. And that's a weight upgrade. So 6-9 for Luce. Oh, and it's drawn by Bichen.
4
Wow, the last 6.
And Honitsu comes into hand for Luce as we enter South 4. Still could be anyone's game. Amy, just slightly out of range of first place, is the dealer, has a chance at Ipeco and a door in hand.
So how weird is this? Let's just in the event that Vincent sumos a Mongon, Vincent gets above 30,000, finishes in second by 100 points, and Beechin has to eat a last place at 26,900.
Yeah, that'd be stunning for Bichen.
I'm like, really? 26.9 and I'm in last?
Yeah, Amy would pay the Oyakaburi.
Oh, no, she'd go under. Never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, never
but
mind.
Beechin would still get last at 26-9. Yeah, call for Luce.
本
Atozuke. Now the South comes out. Double Yakuhai, Ishanten. Tudora, actually.
With
So
Tudora.
this is Mongon. And Amy says, I need to push, but this allows...
I would call this.
Yeah, this is Tenpai on the 5-8.
And you're like, okay,
Yum.
first of all, oh my god.
It comes out right
the thing is,
away.
like, again, it looks like a Chanta, right? So
Yeah,
you didn't want you would be more hesitant to drop a terminal tile. So I mean, not that Vince maybe had any choice, but
right. Well, yeah. But with the South, anything goes. And that is the Mongon for Luce. Will increase the lead.
no, that's it.
Yeah, plus 29.4. Amy second, plus 7.3. Beechin third, negative 6.9. And after that, Mongon hit Vincent at the negative 30.6 after this game ends. All right. Well, no Daisangen. This was more of a positional battle, a tighter affair. Definitely a very tight finish, but Luce just had the perfect hand to run away with it at the very end. And
Yeah, I think I think a lot of it also might have been just, you know, a lot of the early calls, especially probably from, I think it was Luce, was just to try to not let people build big hands like what happened last time around. Like, he couldn't have helped it because, I mean, Amy was still calling when she got her dice on again. But
Right.
just knowing, perhaps knowing that Amy is prone to explosions over the table, just trying to kind of control the flow or point action, as it were.
Yeah, going ahead and throwing in a manual refresh. Oh, even that didn't work. We might not get a score update, but we can compute it manually. So
Well,
Luce,
so Vincent goes down to. Oh wait,
something's happening.
something happened.
Well, I know at least I can maybe switch over to the screen that is up. See if this is better. Yeah, this screen is updated.
Vincent dropped there to third place there with that fourth place finish to end his round 3.
Yeah, so falls back to third, Amy in fourth, climbing this round for sure. Luce at 65 and Beechan at 44. I can't remember where Beechan started, but we said all 4 of these players were positive, and none of them took a big enough hit to dip. So really the story, I think, is Amy climbing. And now we have 3 players over 100 points in the A1 division with, well, for some players it is 6 games remaining. For some it is 8. And
again, it's just odd to notice that, like, you know, you look again, if EV isn't everything, much like runs like WAR isn't everything in baseball, but you notice that Steve, Kinian, and Vincent have their EVs in a bright red. Max and Minko to a lesser extent, and then Luce also has red. And yet there's Amy there, but we know what she can do. It doesn't matter that her EV is sitting at 600.
right, yeah. And so will be very exciting as I know there's a couple A1 matches tomorrow. And probably a little bit of a break in A1 outside of some of the matches that are lower in the division.
Yeah, because some of these people will be heading out to the World Rikishi Championship, so they're probably have gotten their games in here beforehand. But yeah, we have we have one game really early tomorrow, and then we actually have one of those future matches coming in, and actually that will put Steve with only 1 round to play after tomorrow.
Yeah, and that will be the final snaked round where your placement determines who you will face in the final round.
So yeah, Steve's will actually be done up until the position rounds.
Right. So I think our next broadcast will not feature Steve, as I will be playing in that.
You'll be
match.
At the table.
So I won't be streaming this, but in lieu of mentioning his name, good luck to Steve in the upcoming WRC, as well as Kenyon as well. And I believe there's another player from the ARML who's in this event.
We have
Ryan, right?
We have Ryan. He took a hiatus this season in order to prepare for it. And actually, let me get I have the list here somewhere. Where is it?
Yeah. So hiatus or not, best of luck to Ryan as well. Hopefully, all goes well in the tournament, and all the other players who are traveling out to Vienna this year.
So Austin, who also taking a hiatus this time around, he'll be there. Austin's in B2. Claire, Kenyon, Michael McLeod, who's also on hiatus, Pio, Ryan Adams, and Steve Augustin.
Well,
so we have quite a few players of ours that are heading over across the pond.
That's really awesome.
Compete in Vienna.
Really awesome that so many of the players who are facing international competition are also members of the league. That's really great. All right.
Yep.
So it looks like our next broadcast will be expected date is Saturday. Saturday evening.
Yeah.
So look forward to seeing that one. Any final thoughts, Edwin, before calling it an evening?
No, not really. Just again, it's we got to watch a lot of interesting play in the A1 division. Both uh, probably like a little bit more standard, reserve play, and then the fast-paced action that we saw here at the end. So even if people might think, oh well, maybe if you're in the upper divisions, you play this certain way or that certain way, and really that's not the case. It really just depends from game to game, and not while people might ascribe a certain play style over another, I think that what we can see here is it doesn't have to be that way,
Yeah.
So.
Good mix of styles in A1 on display tonight. And for me, Daisangen. That was certainly thrilling to see. And so hopefully we'll see some more in our next broadcast. If anybody is interested in checking out the website and being a part of the ARML in the future, you can visit AmericanRichi.org. You can also follow us on Twitter at AmericanRichi. Make sure to follow the Twitch page to be alerted when we are going live on Saturday. And if you'd like to see any of the broadcasts that have been sent out in the past, including this one, they'll all eventually be uploaded on the YouTube page. Many of them are there right now. In fact, there's hours and hours and hours of broadcasts at tinyurl.com/ARMLYT. So check that out and send a subscription to that channel. And well, for Edwin, this is Nathaniel thanking you for joining us for another broadcast of the American Richi Mahjong League. See you on Saturday.
Have a good night, everyone.